Hello cousins near and far, and welcome to my channel Ancestral Spotlight. Today we're going to talk about Y-DNA testing. It is my hope that by understanding the value of this test and how exactly it can help you and others, that you might be inclined to have the DNA testing done for your family. I will state here that I am in no way affiliated with Family Tree DNA and speak from my own personal experience and use of the tools. Let's take a look at Y-DNA testing and what it can do for all of us. As a basic understanding, Y-DNA is passed down along our paternal lineages in an unbroken chain from father to son. Only males can carry Y-DNA, as possessing the Y chromosome is what makes men male. We test our Y-DNA at Family Tree DNA, and at present have the option to choose between three products, the Y37, the Y111, and the big Y700. The difference of these tests is the number of markers being tested, 37, 111, 700. Personally, I recommend the Y111 marker test, which affords us the simplistic measuring chart on the Family Tree DNA website. When your test results arrive, you are assigned a haplogroup and presented with a list of DNA matches. Yes, you can obtain your basic haplogroup from 23andMe. However, it is only a basic haplogroup, and there is no marker information presented for you to work with. What is a haplogroup? Think of it like your surname, which you can trace back in time. And every so often, the spelling of that surname will change slightly, giving us a different version of our surname. Like our surnames, we can often see where the spelling variations occur. Examples being spelling changes upon immigration, language barriers, etc. Upon that event, all the following descendants of that particular branch present the spelling variation. And it is the same with the haplogroup on the scientific world tree. We have the haplogroup and its descendants, called subclades. Think of these subclades like the spelling variations of your surname. Imagine a father and his many sons, then his grandsons and great-grandsons spread out into the world, carrying his surname and occasionally the surname having a variation. You will notice that your haplogroup is subject to change as you upgrade from the basic haplogroup on 23andMe or the 37 marker test on Family Tree DNA to the Y111, and then finally to the big Y700. Why is this? Think of it like a phone number. The basic marker tests are like an area code. The Y111 marker gives you the area code and the first three digits, so you can get a really good idea of where you connect. The big Y700 marker test gives you the whole phone number and dials you in directly to the information you seek. But remember, as with any DNA test, it's highly subjective to having DNA matches. So understand that if your direct paternal ancestry is deeply established in the Western world, you will likely have more cousins, close and distant, versus if your distant paternal ancestry quickly goes back to an area less established with records. For example, surname Baird. We have many branches established well into the 1600s and earlier, which includes paper trails and lots of descendants across the globe. America, Canada, Scotland, England, New Zealand, Australia, Africa, etc., etc. You're going to have matches. Versus my own paternal ancestry, my father's line being in America for 2 generations before going back to a village in Hungary, where they lived fairly isolated as far back as the 1200s. We have one Y700 match that sits at 10 genetic distance, and we would have shared a common ancestor about 30 generations apart, being roughly my 15th to 20th great-grandfather or more. Our paper trail in that region ends with my 5th great-grandfather, so that's a lot of gaps to fill, unlike our Baird example. Here's where it gets fun. Among the Y-DNA matches you receive, you'll be shown the genetic distance you share to each match. On this chart, which you can find at Family Tree DNA, you can see how each genetic distance is interpreted. Each measured genetic distance grants a confidence percentage of how many generations are estimated between you and that match. Example, zero genetic distance has a 95% confidence to be 5 generations apart. We can go up 1, 2, to a grandfather perhaps, then come back down 3, 4, 5 to a second cousin once removed. This confidence percentage is number of generations or less. Understand that this is an approximate. So zero genetic distance could be father-son, grandfather-grandson, great-uncle, second great-uncle. We should see the common paternal line ancestor at or within 3 generations back, approximately. We couple this with traditional paper trail genealogy and have absolute confirmation of our ancestry. You follow the same process at each genetic distance. So how does this help us all? Again, take the surname Baird as an example, with many branches and lots of brick walls. But there are as many that do not have brick walls. We establish through paper trail the lines we can, then employ Y-DNA testing at the Y111 marker range, and if needed, the big Y700. Soon we can begin to see the larger picture. We might not be able to find every generation between you and a DNA match, but we can dial you into your deep history and find where you should connect. Happy hunting, my friend.